Hi everyone, I'm Sugandha and you're watching Ready with HR and I hope so you all are well and yes, you all are waiting for this session. This is session 12, module 2, recruitment and selection, and we are going to discuss about onboarding today. Before going further, let's have a quick recap, and if you don't want to see this recap because see this is this is session 12 and we have done almost 20 sessions. So we must have a quick recap. If you don't want to see this recap, yes, you can skip to 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, let's get started with the recap. First, in module 1, we have done two sessions, session 1 and session 2, where we have discussed about introduction to HRM and basic elements of HRM, starting from recruitment and selection to strategic HR. And yes, we have discussed little things about each basic element, starting from recruitment and selection, compensation, benefits, performance management, training and development. And now from module 2, these basic elements will be separate module. Like module 2 is recruitment and selection, and here we are discussing recruitment and selection in detail. Okay, so we have done from identification of job vacancy, job analysis, sourcing candidates, initial screening, interviewing, assessment, and then yes, we derive on selection. Now in selection also we have started from background verification, reference check, negotiation, job offer, and this is last onboarding. Yes, this is last, and after this we are going to start module 3, that will be training and development, hopefully, if you don't need anything in this, right? So this is all about the recap. Let's get started with the onboarding. Make sure to subscribe this channel if you're watching me for the very first time, and do hit that cute notification bell icon so that you could get my updates later on as well. And yes, if you haven't seen these sessions, module 1 and module 2 and all these sessions, please check those sessions from the pinned comment. What you can do, you can just check the thumbnail. If you feel that yes, you want to know something about this topic, then yes, you can click on that, right? But to make sure to check, because I have discussed about interviewing in detail, rounds of interview. You people generally ask me about rounds of interview, and yes, negotiation script I have given. So these were actually detailed sessions. Let's get started with onboarding. And we all know we have discussed this onboarding in 10 days recruiter workshop, in 15 days HR workshop. I hope so you have seen these workshops. If you haven't, please check these workshops from the pinned comment again. Okay. So onboarding is a critical phase. It is important. Why? Because we have done all this to recruit a candidate, to recruit an employee. And now today we are talking about introducing them to the company. So yes, this is a critical phase in the hiring process that occurs after a candidate accepts a job offer. Once we have selected the candidate, we have given them a job offer, they have accepted it. Now comes onboarding. So it involves introducing the new employee to the organization and providing them with the tools, resources, and knowledge necessary to succeed in their role. We have to provide those tools, resources, knowledge. So effective onboarding, you can understand, helps new hires become productive, more productive and engaged members of the team, while obviously creating a positive first impression of the company. We all know first impression is the last impression, but yes, it's not true in every case. But first impression always create a long lasting impression, you can say. So yes, let's deep dive into this onboarding process, detailed explanation of this onboarding process. So first and foremost is pre-arrival preparation, and I always discuss about this pre-arrival preparation because this is the most important before the candidate is entering, before that new hire is entering our organization. There are some pre things we need to do. We need to do some preparations, so we must do this. We should never wait for the candidate, as I have seen in small size companies and in few mid-level companies as well, that they say let the candidate enters, let the candidate come, we will see how the candidate enters the organization and how things are going, then we will arrange things. That should not be the practice. Okay, so what we have to do, welcome communication. Before the new hires start date, the organization should send a welcome email or letter providing essential information about their first day, including start time, location, dress code, and any required documents. Now, please don't get offended by this word dress code or something. Okay, if your company have these kind of rules where dress code is mandatory, or there are some specific timings, or you are thinking that you would be introducing them at a separate location or something, then you must add those things in that welcome email so that they have a proper communication. Fine. Next is workspace setup. Now the company ensures that the new employee's workspace is ready. Okay, it should not be there like, okay, I have allotted a buddy, and that a new hire is moving with that buddy everywhere, and yes, my new employee doesn't have their own workplace. Okay, this should not be the case. Company must ensure that the new employee's workspace is ready, including necessary equipment, technology, and supplies. And this might involve setting up a obviously computer, laptop, phone, and email account. Now, I always say don't be in hurry to hire a candidate to provide them a joining date. First, prepare all these things, then call them. Okay, don't say okay, that candidate has accepted our offer, let's give them a joining date for the next day, or for a for coming week. uh, Take your time. Okay, it's better to take your time, and then welcome the candidate. Okay, then welcome your new employee. Onboarding schedule, yes, an itinerary for the first few days or weeks is prepared, outlining training sessions, meetings, and key tasks to help the new hires settle in smoothly. Believe me, if you will prepare these schedules and you will make sure that my new hire is aware of this, then this will make a great difference. Yes, because and now the employee is well prepared, employee knows the process, each and every step, and they have time to plan things accordingly. Fine. So next is orientation. Now, introduction to the company. This is important. Like the new hire participates in an orientation session that introduces the organization's mission, values, history, and culture. Now, this session may include presentations by key leaders or videos that highlight the company's achievements and goals. Okay, so yes, this can be again very helpful for the new hire to understand things faster. Next is policy and procedure overview. Most important, HR representatives should provide information on company policies, procedures, and expectations, including, again, yes, attendance, dress code, communication protocols, and health and safety guidelines. Definitely, I would like to focus on the communication protocols. Candidates should be aware. I'm using the word candidate again and again. Yes, he is or she is our employee now, new hire. Okay, so yes, I'm talking about the same person. Communication protocols are important. They must be aware to whom to contact, and why people are contacting me, who can contact me, right? So these protocols should be clear. Next is benefits and compensation. Again, details about the employee's benefits package, including whatever health insurance, retirement plans, and other perks are explained. This may involve a separate session with a benefits specialist. Okay. Now, you might be confused that we have already told all these things in job offer, then why we are talking about this again and again. Yes, this could be as per the company's policy. Sometimes it happens that even if the candidate has accepted the offer, then again, just we are reviewing all these things with him face to face. So it could be you are discussing about this benefits and compensation again, or if your company doesn't have such policy, then it's okay. But it's advisable that when the new hire joins your company, then it's better that you reconfirm all those things which were discussed regarding this benefits and compensation. Next is training and development. Now, here we need to focus on three things. First is role specific training, then is skills development and mentorship programs. So, role specific training. The new hire receives training tailored to their specific job responsibilities, and which may include software tutorials, process overviews, and hands on practice. So you must include all these things. Never expect an employee to be well versed in everything, whatever package you are paying. And even if that candidate say, okay, I'm well versed with this, then still you must include few days training. Okay, skills development, again, opportunities for further learning and development are identified, such as workshops, courses, or certifications. And yes, this can enhance employees skills and knowledge. Then is mentorship programs. Pairing the new hire with a mentor or buddy can provide additional support and guidance, helping them navigate the organization and build relationships. So this is important. And again, I always say that the mentor or buddy should be a positive mindset person. He or she should not be a person who is ready to, who burst at anywhere, and they have their negatives, lot of negative things regarding the company, and they are just they're ready to poke all that to the new hire. So yes, you must consider this before appointing anybody. Next is integration into company culture, and here we need to understand about the team introduction, cultural immersion, and feedback and communication. So team introduction is important. New employee is introduced to team members and key stakeholders wherever connections are involved, and encouraging collaboration. This may include team lunches, meet and greet sessions, or social events. Now you might be thinking that how it's possible that the people we hired for lower position, mid position, senior position, all are treated in the same way. No, these guidelines are journal guidelines. It happens that there are people in the department, like lower level employees, who doesn't have much role in collaboration, connections. Okay, so yes, obviously there we can avoid this lunch or these social events. We can have, alternatively we can have interdepartmental lunch or interdepartmental events. Okay, so this you need to consider that if we are hiring someone on a managerial position, and that manager needs to interact with a lot of people, with senior professionals, with junior professionals, that person is a centralized person. So definitely we need to conduct a proper social event and this team lunch, meet and greet session. Okay, so I think I made this point clear. Next is, yes, cultural immersion. Again, that is important. Activities that promote understanding and appreciation of the company culture are encouraged, such as participation in team building exercises, company traditions, or community service events. It will be really helpful for the organization and for the new hire if we will help him to get interact with a lot of people in early days. So feedback and communication is important. Regular check-ins with managers and HR allow the new hire to provide feedback on their onboarding experience, address any concerns, and set performance goals. Okay, so definitely feedback and communication is important. Next is performance and progress monitoring, and you can say this is my favorite point, because I believe that we should not only set expectations, we must review, we must provide continuous support. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do, setting expectations, clear expectations and objectives should be established to guide the new hire's performance and development. This may involve, you can say, setting short term and long term goals. You must set what are the short term goals, and you must set what are the long term goals. Okay, now regular reviews, scheduled performance reviews and feedback sessions help monitor the new employees' progress, and celebrate achievements and identify errors for improvement. Again, whenever I say identify errors for improvement, you should be open up for accepting the faults of your employees. Whatever weakness they have or whatever faults are there, you must accept it, and you must find the ways to improve it. Don't always think, oh, why it happened, we have hired this candidate for so much package, and now see what's happening. I have seen so many managers, bosses, owners, they always talk about such things. Oh, we are giving this much package to him, how he can do such mistakes. Oh, even you do mistakes. As a manager you do mistakes, and as senior professional you do mistakes. And even if you are an owner, you do several mistakes. But the point is, you try to resolve it on your level. But since that employee is not able to do it on his or her level, we can't judge him on the basis that, oh, he is, low performer, and we need to remove him. That should not be the way. We must accept the fault, we must accept the weakness, and we must try to resolve the issue. See, as an organization, as a manager, as a senior professional, we all know that what can be the solution, how we can train that employee, how we can improve, how we can make changes in the work culture to improve that particular problem with that employee. But it happens several times that we often get irritated by the weaknesses or the faults of the new employee, and we think that, okay, let's find other way to resolve it by either removing employee, finding a substitute, or anything. Okay, so this should not be the case. We must regularly review the employee's performance. Next is continuous support. Again, I always talk about this. Ongoing support and resources should be provided to help the new hire succeed in their role, including access to additional training. Yes, this I discussed, and coaching and professional development opportunities. So yes, I hope so. I have discussed this in detail. Now, if I have to summarize, we can say that yes, effective onboarding is a strategic process. Why? We need to plan it accordingly. So that goes beyond simply, introducing a new hire to their job. This is beyond that. We are not only introducing the new hire. We have to plan a lot of things. It is about integrating them into the organizational culture, ensuring they feel valued and supported, and setting the stage for their long term success within the company. So, we all know that a positive onboarding experience can lead to increased job satisfaction, high retention rates, and improved overall performance. Okay, so yes, this is all about onboarding. I hope so. I have discussed several things about onboarding, and there are several sessions on onboarding on my other channel, ready to get update. There's a proper playlist where I have discussed about the onboarding program also. I think if you will check HR recruiter playlist over here, and HR playlist on this channel also, you can find those sessions. Okay, and if you need any other session on this onboarding, or you have any queries, please write in the comment section so that I can resolve them. Okay, so I hope so this was helpful, and this was module 2, complete recruitment and selection. Now we will start from the next session, module 3, and that will be training and development, and we are going to discuss each and every aspect of training and development in detail. So every kind of training I would be discussing, and how we can provide that training, how that can be helpful, all the aspects. Okay, so be here in the next session, and yes, I am waiting for your comments. So please do tell me if it's helpful. Until next video, all the very best. Stay happy, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.